Democrats are starting to break ranks on impeachment, and some even outright abandon it. The shocking thing is that even Adam Schiff, who is the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, who's leading the inquiry, now says, well, the evidence isn't contested, but I'm going to talk to my constituents first. Now, you should realize the Democrats were not entirely on board with this from the get-go. Moderate Democrats were scared, and rightly so, and even two Democrats who are more moderate conservative Democrats rejected the impeachment inquiry vote. Well, as we've seen over the past several weeks, impeachment has backfired miserably. Polls are showing opposition. Moderate voters are not happy. Independent voters, opposition is skyrocketing, and now they are feeling the heat. And guess what? You even have Washington Post and on CNN, a reporter saying, Democrats are getting worried. Now the dam has broken. House Democrat now sees no value in impeachment as polls show falling support among independents. You know what? I predicted this. I did for a long time. Actually for the past couple of weeks, I've been saying I think they're going to impeach. I don't think they're going to impeach anymore. Let me tell you what's going to happen. At first, we all thought they would impeach simply because they controlled the House and they've wanted to. But upon seeing the polls and with the risk of going to the Senate and having Joe and Hunter Biden on trial and all the Democratic 2020 contenders forced to sit as jurors, I thought there's no way they'll impeach because they'll be giving the Republicans all of the control. What they're going to do is run the impeachment hearings, get as much negative press as possible, and then at the last minute say, after thinking about it, we believe it's destructive, a bit too divisive, and we would like the American people to decide. That's where, over the past few days, that's where my mind has been going. If you watch my other videos, you'd have heard me saying, I don't know if they're actually going to impeach anymore. And now it seems this is what's going to happen. We're going to see a bunch of Democrats break ranks. They're going to start saying, and guess what this one House Democrat is saying? Well, the election's so close. And there it is. Now, what really surprised me was Adam Schiff coming out and saying, well, let me talk to my constituents first. Oh, there it is. Dude, you led the charge. You claimed you had evidence of collusion in Russia. You keep talking about all of the wrongdoing Trump is doing, and now you're not sure? What was all of this for? You know what, man? This plan was miserable, and it's gonna backfire worse than anyone could possibly imagine. I bet they were thinking we can dance around the edge of impeachment, get all the bad press, and then walk it back, and no one would care. No, they're gonna care. They are. So let's read this story, and I want to actually walk through with you the unfortunate ramifications for the Democrats who imposed impeachment. See, one of the Democrats, Jeff Van Dwyer, I think his name is. I have the article about him. He actually represents New Jersey's 2nd District, which is basically across the street from me. And I feel bad now. They're coming for him because he did the right thing. But in the end, maybe he will be vindicated when all these other Democrats back out and he says, I told you. And then everyone's going to be like, yeah, okay, I guess. But let's start with this story and see why this House Democrat is backing down. The dam has broken. Democrats are reversing course. Before we get started, head over to timcast.com/donate if you would like to support my work. There's numerous ways you can give, but the best thing you can do is share this video. Because I guess as someone put it, I was talking about how I hated the impeachment stuff, and someone messaged me saying, yeah, but the problem is the majority of the narrative right now is ignoring the facts. CNN, they don't want to talk about Democrats breaking ranks. They don't want to talk about the fact that Trump's approval is up, that independents are opposing this. They just keep pushing this fake news narrative, so we need people talking about it. And you know what? Fine. That's actually a good reason to make sure I keep up on what's going on with impeachment. And if you agree, sharing this video is the best way to help. Let's read the story. Fox News reports, Michigan Democratic Rep. Brenda Lawrence, a prominent supporter of Kamala Harris who has previously supported the impeachment inquiry into Trump, abruptly announced Sunday that she no longer saw any value in the process and called for her fellow Democrats to throw their support behind a symbolic censure resolution. Oh, there it is. Lawrence's about-face came as polls have shown that independents are souring on the idea of impeaching and removing Trump from office, including in critical battleground states like Wisconsin, even as House Democrats aggressively presented their focus group-tested bribery case against the president over the past 2 weeks. It all keeps backfiring. I could seriously make 50 videos in one day about every single thing that has backfired on the Democrats' plans. What did they think? They were going to do impeachment, but then they would just walk it back if it failed? No, you bet on the wrong horse. We are so close to an election. Oh, there it is. Lawrence said Sunday on a Michigan radio program, noting that Trump stands little chance of being convicted by the GOP-controlled Senate. I've been saying this. We've all been saying this. I will tell you, sitting here knowing how divided this country is, I don't see the value of taking him out of office, but I do see the value of putting down a marker saying his behavior is not acceptable. It's in violation of the oath of office of a president of the United States, and we have to be clear that you cannot use your power of the presidency to withhold funds to get a foreign country to investigate an American citizen for your own personal gain. There's no way around it. No. That narrative is hardcore impeachable, but not provable. That's the problem. So they want to maintain the narrative, but say, we're so close to an election here. My prediction is that too many Democrats, the moderates, are going to back down and say, we needed to do the inquiry to get the evidence. You have to understand, if there's a claim, we need to investigate. And now that we've gone through it, we think there's just insufficient evidence to impeach the president at this time. That's my bet. We'll see what happens. I don't think I'm a psychic or anything, but let's see what happens. That's my bet right now. Lawrence continued, I want him to be censured. I want it on the record that the House of Representatives did their job, and they told this president and any president coming behind him that this is unacceptable behavior, and under our Constitution, we will not allow it. I am a Democrat, but I'm an independent United States of America citizen. Lawrence occupies a safely Democratic district that includes eastern Detroit, and a reluctance to move forward with impeachment suggested that moderate Democrats in swing districts may be also getting cold feet now that all scheduled hearings in the probe wrapped up last week. No evidence! All circumstantial, all opinion, and if you turn on MSNBC and CNN, they're going to be like, people are just ignoring reality. Yeah, tell all of the independents they're ignoring reality. Sorry. You are on the losing side of this argument. Now, that doesn't mean that Trump is right. It just means that what you've presented was a waste of time and was insufficient. They say that recent, and I'll add too, she's in a safe Democratic district. She has no reason to come out against impeachment. She has every reason to stay on board with impeachment. But if even the safe Democratic districts are saying enough, no, the dam is broken, and I believe it is going to start tumbling down. Recent surveys indicate that even Democratic voters are losing interest in impeachment. Meanwhile, 50% of independents questioned in an NPR PBS Marist poll, now what, the fifth poll, conducted November 11 to 15, did not support impeaching and removing Trump from office, with just 42% backing such a move. That's a noticeable dip in support compared to the previous poll conducted the first week of October. I believe that's what, the fifth poll now this month, showing that independent voters are like, no dice, we get it. Democrats, you don't like Trump. But if the Democrats want to win, you got to convince moderates and people like me that what you're doing makes sense. And this is why, I will say for the millionth time, you all made a mistake. You made a huge mistake. And now we have this. Schiff says he wants to speak with constituents before deciding on impeachment. Oh, really? But weren't you so sure? House Intelligence Committee Chairman Adam Schiff said on Sunday that the facts in the impeachment inquiry are not contested, but that he has not yet personally decided where he stands in terms of supporting the impeachment of President Trump. Please, no. You are the impeachment cheerleader. You made this happen. You set the rules. You blocked witnesses, and now you're not sure anymore? Okay. What a stupid game. I cannot stand these people and the manipulation and the fake trash they put in front of the American people. Could they be voting on bills that matter? Could they be negotiating and even arguing and debating fiercely real issues? Yes. Instead, what do we get? We must impeach the president. And then, well, I'm not really sure. So here's what ends up happening. He told Schiff he was going to talk to his constituents, but, I feel bad for the moderate Democrats because they're getting roasted. I mean, one of the guys, I believe, what is his name? Colin Peterson of Minnesota, and Jeff Van Drew, I got his name wrong. Jeff Van Drew and Colin Peterson. Colin Peterson's a conservative Democrat. He's pretty conservative. But now Republicans are going to try and take him out because of impeachment. It's going to work against them. Fortunately, they made the right move. Both Jeff Van Drew and Colin Peterson, by rejecting the impeachment, looked like they're going to be on the right side of history on this one. And the Democratic plan to do whatever they were going to do, I have no idea. It's going to backfire. Naturally, though, Democrats are not happy. So those are the two Democrats. Check this out. Impeachment or not, Trump could hurt these New Jersey Democrats in 2020, and Democrats are saying this. Now, this one strikes close to home. I live in Jersey. I live in South Jersey, okay? Now, I'm from Chicago. I lived in New York for a while. I've only been here for just over a year. But it's interesting that this is kind of falling in my backyard. The Democrats are being told specifically that New Jersey is, it's like Union Democrat territory. And all of the stuff you're doing is bad for what's happening here in my backyard. Check this out. There's a story from NJ.com. President Donald Trump is a businessman, unlike mostly useless politicians. He is working to reverse America's decline and working to bring back companies to the U.S. He wants to control the borders. Impeachment? Well, that's dominating the Democratic agenda. And Trump's attempt to get Ukraine to investigate a leading political rival was just politics as usual. These are the views of Democratic focus groups in New Jersey. Boom. Wow. These are Democratic focus groups. These are regular people in this state saying, we get it. It's politics. Get over it. These groups of college-educated and non-college-educated white voters in New Jersey's 2nd and 3rd congressional districts found strong support for Trump going into an election year where Democrats hope to retain the 2 House seats they won last November. Trump has some standing with many of these voters, said the report conducted by House Majority Forward, a dark money nonprofit linked to the House Democratic leadership, which assembled the focus groups. The core perception voters bring to the discussion of Trump is that he is a businessman, not a politician. Because he is not a politician, the standards that would apply to a politician are not applied to him. Well, that's kind of what, look, I might not agree with that, but if that's what the people think, then you're making a bad move in acting against the will of the people. They say, House Majority Forward regularly hosts focus groups and invites more than just fellow Democrats, spokeswoman Kylekolinsky said. We think it is valuable to check in with these voters from time to time, and we were not surprised to hear that some of these voters still view Donald Trump as an atypical politician. The findings indicate that 2020 might be different with Trump actually on the ballot as compared to last November, when backlash against Republican policies such as a tax law that targeted New Jersey and other high-tax states helped Democrats capture those 2 districts and 2 other GOP-held House seats. Freudian slip, what can I say? The 2 rookie Democrats, whose constituents formed the focus groups, Jeff Van Drew and Andy Kim, are rated as the most endangered New Jersey incumbents by both Washington-based publications that track congressional races, the Cook Political Report and Inside Elections. House Majority Forward is the nonprofit arm of the House Majority PAC, Super Political Action Committee, which has ties to House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Yeah. The findings by Nancy Pelosi's dark money group make it clear as day. With President Trump driving Republican turnout, Andy Kim and Jeff Van Drew are toast, said Michael McAdams, a spokesman for the National Republican Congressional Committee. Let me stop there. That breaks my heart. Jeff Van Drew did the right thing. He said, my constituents do not want this. And now he's getting it from both sides. Democrats are coming for him and Republicans. I'm not surprised Republicans are going to come for him, right? He's a Democrat. He is. But he opposed impeachment, and that's what the Democratic Party needs. The biggest mistake the Democrats are making are abandoning him, and they are. Let me show you some more stories. This one says, Democrat Jeff Van Drew voted against the Trump impeachment inquiry. Quote, we're coming for him. New Jersey activists vow. That bums me out, man. Here's a guy who was right. I mean, look, you've got what's her name, Brenda Lawrence in a safe Democrat district saying no dice, but she's safe. She doesn't need to do that. She's gonna win no matter what, right? And Adam Schiff saying I'm not sure, and you're blaming this guy, man. Look at this one. An op-ed was written by Bridget Callahan Harrison for NJ.com. Congressman Van Drew is wrong on impeachment. Professor says, here's why. And now we get this from New Jersey Globe. Van Drew will face primary challenge if he votes against Trump impeachment. Bridget Harrison mulls House bid. Mistake. Big mistake. Look, man, the House focus groups, we're seeing this from NJ.com. Democrats are telling you they do not like the games you're playing. They understand what Trump represents. And guess what? Union working class Democrats, they like the guy. You know, it's really strange, right? We're seeing something fascinating. There was that story CNN did. I think it was in Minnesota, in like northern Minnesota. It was a district that was historically blue and then voted for Trump. What they found was at the national level, these voters supported Trump. At the local level, voting Democrat. You know why? Our national level Democrats are losing their minds. First of all, we got a bunch of do nothing, please just give me the keys to the castle Democrats, people like Pelosi and Schumer, Nadler, Schiff, etc. Then you're getting the new wave of the far left activist base, people like the Squad. So when it comes to the national level and you're looking at these politicians, the Democratic field looks nuts. They're promising to abolish healthcare, private healthcare outright. They're saying they're going to give healthcare to non-citizens. And then you get Trump coming along. And yeah, Trump's conservative on a lot of issues, but he sounds normal. You know, like what I mean by normal, he sounds like what people are used to. You know why? You know what? Here's what really bums me out. Okay, Van Drew, Colin Peterson, they're always going to face competition from Republicans. That's a given. But the Democrats who won't support them, and I can't speak too much for Peterson, but Van Drew is facing flack from Democrats who want to primary him. He was right though, and you know what? When you can't even see it, that's the problem. Kylekolinsky, the ever wise. Now, I criticized him before for not knowing what farms are, but for the most part, Kylekolinsky is a smart dude, and I have tremendous respect for him. I think he's a good guy who acts in good faith. He's my understanding is he's responsible a bit for Justice Democrats, which was like AOC and stuff. So definitely someone I probably have a lot of political disagreements with, but I think he's a good dude. And here's what he said in September: possible impeachment scenarios. Inquiry never even leads to impeachment vote in the House. Second, it leads to vote in the House but fails there. Third, it gets through the House and dies in the Senate. Not possible scenario. It gets through the House and the Senate and through the House and the Senate and Trump is removed. Come on, man. You know what? There are a lot. I think the big divide we see is the establishment left and the intersectional identitarian left, and then like the true progressives. Now, I can't speak there's an overlap for sure between a lot of these people, and many of them refuse to call each other out. But I typically find that while Kyle is wrong in a lot of things, I find that he's wrong. I'm not saying I know for a fact he's always wrong. I'm saying I disagree with him politically, right? I think he's a principled guy, and I think there's a huge overlap between people like him and Trump supporters, and that's why you saw Bernie or bust. There are people who don't like Trump, who vote for him anyway, because what are they going to do? Vote for some of the more far-left Democrats? There are people who don't like Trump and are definitely going to vote for far-left Democrats. And there are people who are anti-establishment, period. And that's what's crazy to me. I don't understand why there aren't more progressive leftists who are basically like, let Trump lead these investigations against Biden, man. Think about what's going to happen now. They did the impeachment. They wasted our time. Everyone's going to be angry. No one's better off for it. And now what? Now we don't get to find out what happens in the end? It's just, it's ridiculous. From the beginning, you had people like Kyle, who I believe he's a populist left, telling you straight up, man, not going to lie. That's never going to work. Not only that, he said it was possible. It never even leads to an impeachment vote. And here we are. Adam Schiff doesn't even know if he wants to impeach the president. They might not even vote on it. I kid you not. You would imagine, based on the inquiry, they would actually vote. They'd say, okay, let's hold a vote now and see what they think. No. The reason I don't think they'll do that is because it'll put a marker on every single Democrat as to where they stand. It was bad enough they voted on the inquiry itself. Now you've got all of the only two Democrats who opposed it. If they go forward with a straight up vote on impeachment, well, for one, it might actually pass. And if it does, Republicans take control, Joe Biden comes in, Trump gets to bring in whoever he wants, the whistleblower, all that stuff, and it goes all wide open. Hunter Biden, Burisma, everything hits the fan. If they hold that vote, then in those moderate districts, around 31 or so districts, you're going to have all those moderates with a number on their head saying, 1 or 0, yes or no. And people are going to say, you did X. You didn't vote for impeachment. You did vote for impeachment. Now, the best thing could happen is Adam Schiff and the House say, we're not going to vote on it. They say, we're going to vote for censure instead. And then you're going to get the moderates saying, look, even Tucker Carlson agreed the call was inappropriate. So we thought we should vote for censure and let the American people decide. That's going to be the big play. Republicans have been saying it. The American people should decide. The election is coming. I agree. And that's what the Democrats are going to use to fall back on. And we can see it bringing right back to the story about Brenda Lawrence, where she said, quote, we are so close to an election. And there it is. That's the play they're going to make. That's my bet. Even though they never dug up any real evidence, this is their safe exit. By claiming the election is too close and of discussing it, we think the American people should decide, they can fall back on, we had enough evidence. The moderate Democrats aren't forced to oppose or support it, and they don't give the Republicans the power to call Joe or Hunter Biden and clog up 2020. That's the play. That's what they're going to do. So you know what? I think the whole game is dirty. I'm just sick and tired of all of it, man. I'm not represented by Van Drew, but I have tremendous respect for him taking a stand and saying, I'm going to do the right thing. But of course, the Democrats won't accept that. There is no place for a moderate individual to try and speak rationally. What party am I in? I have no idea. I don't agree with a lot of the policies on the right, but the left has lost its mind. And so you can look to the principled Democrats who said no to impeachment to see exactly how this plays out. Van Drew's the best example. He's in Jersey. I get it. I think Colin Peterson, where's he's in Minnesota or something. But Van Drew is in a blue state, and he said no to impeachment, and he got slammed relentlessly for it. Because you're either with us or against us, even if we're not, even if we're wrong. That's what the Democrats are saying. They want progressives, they want Orange Man bad, but moderate voters, they're the ones saying, I don't know. So I'll tell you what, the problem for Van Drew is that it's coming to a primary. And that's not going to be independent voters. It's going to be Democrats who are going to choose. Here's how Republicans take Jersey. Van Drew opposes impeachment, rightly so. Democrats primary him. Democratic activists are the ones who are voting in the primary. Van Drew is out, and this new Bridget is in. But she's anti-Trump, demands impeachment, and moderate voters don't like her. So they vote for a moderate Republican. That's how Jersey goes red. We'll see what happens, okay? I'm not saying I know for sure, but I'm willing to bet impeachment doesn't happen. I don't think it will. I do not think it will. And so, I mean, if we take Kylekolinsky as, his word, that these are the only possibilities, it looks like it's more likely to not happen or fail than it is to even get to the House in the first place. But could you imagine what happens if they support it and then Trump calls Biden? No way. Don't see it. I'll leave it there. Stick around. Thanks for hanging out. Next video is coming up at 6 p.m. youtube.com/TimCastNews, and I will see you all there.